it's entirely predictable that Tulsi Gabbard would be coming out and being like, oh, by the way, I'm, yeah, just straight up a right-winger now. Yeah, surprise, everyone. I've been open and proud turf for the last little while, talking about gender ideology and talking about women in sports taking over and all this other stuff, like, huge, like, even Chico wasn't shocked. Check this out. Chico's like, yeah, no, we know. We know, don't we? Oh, you look so tired, though. You need more sleep. Tulsi's got a proclamation.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers.
Interesting use of words there, Tulsi. Not a lot of people use that term anymore. Usually gets associated with anti-Semitism, but do go on.
Who are driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism.
Okay, I feel maybe this is my calling, you know. Allow me to be the white translator for all the fellow white people who seem to be deeply confused about this and scared and deeply afraid. Okay, there's two different things going on when you hear people talk about, say, whiteness versus if you have white skin or creamy skin or peach-like skin like myself. Whiteness is defined by what is or is not white, and it's usually about stratifying class. And so whiteness changes over time. It's usually what is the ideal top of the pyramid kind of shit. So there are times when even white people who you would look at and you'd be like, oh, that's a white person, are not considered white because it changes. That definition changes over time. What is or is not white? What is or is not at the top of the pyramid? What is or is not bad or good? So Irish people, Italian people, at one point in the history of Americas, were considered not white. There's a lot of white people in Europe who are considered lesser than, not the proper white, you know, because whiteness, again, is about classifying and stratifying society. Has nothing to do with I hate you because of the color of your skin. I don't like you because of the color of your skin. I don't think you should get a job because of the color of your skin. I think the police should disproportionately arrest you more because of the color of your skin. I think you should have trouble getting a bank loan because of the color of your skin. None of that. None of that. That occurs in the opposite direction to people that are not deemed white enough. So that's what whiteness is. It's not about, like, you don't have to get really scared about this. You don't have to think there's going to be a white genocide. You don't have to think that people even hate you because of the color of your skin. Guess what, white people? You're fine. You're beautiful. You're loved. In fact, all standards of beauty are based upon whiteness. You're gonna be okay. All of us are. We're safe. You know? You don't have to worry about that. There's not an active white genocide going on. And guess what? Most likely, you are loved. You are loved. Don't fear this. But we do need to abolish the concept of whiteness. We do need to abolish the concept of racial subjugation. We do need to abolish the concept of treating people differently because of how much melanin they got. You kind of get this, right? Because you're getting very scared and fragile right now. You're like, oh God, I have feelings. I feel like I'm being singled out. I'm being selected for not the content of my character, but the color of my skin. Why would they do this? Well, good that you have those feelings. Good that you're waking up to this, wokening, if you will. It's good that you're awake now to what that concept might feel like, in theory. So here's the deal. This is actually happening to people who happen to be visibly black, visibly indigenous, people who, again, are being judged for the way they look and they're being treated differently by society. And it sucks, right? You don't like that feeling. That feeling you have right now. You're like, oh, ooh, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like someone not liking me or maybe judging me or treating me differently because of the way I look. I can't change this. I can't change my white skin. Why would they do this? Okay, good. Okay, so that's actually happening. That's actually happening to a lot of different people, and it doesn't really make sense, and it's fucked up, and we should stop it. That's what this is about. Has nothing to do about babies are inherently racist, or that white people control time, or any of the other weird shit you've heard about CRT. All that's just made up nonsense. It's not real. None of it's real. So abolishing whiteness is not the same as abolishing white people. Okay? They're not the same concept. So there you go. Two very, very different things.
Who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution. who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding.
Because white is a social construct, yes. And white, in quotations, is the thing here. White. What is or is not white. I mean, there's no better example than the fact that Irish people and Italian people were not considered white to kind of drive this point home. Like, does that make sense to you? Would you see an Irish person and you're like, oh, that's not a white person? Like, oh, no, they're not white. They're Irish. Oh, no. Hey, that's not a white person. That's an Italian. Like, it's made up nonsense. This is fucking ridiculous, you know? Maybe look towards the blue eye, green eye experiment, because that one kind of teaches kids about this really well. But for some reason, like adults have a lot more like difficult time wrapping their heads around this. But like the fact that different people can be white or not white based on what the standards of whiteness is kind of shows you how ridiculous this entire concept is, just as a whole. But it has nothing to do with hating white people. I love white people. I do. I'm white. I love myself. Don't worry. You know, I'm mixed race, but I'm white. Yeah, because what is whiteness or what is not whiteness changes over time. It's wild.
Americans who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political
yeah, I have white friends, okay? I'm allowed to say this.
opponents, and above all,
I give you all the pass, by the way, okay? This just as one white person to other white people. You can talk about abolishing whiteness, and that has nothing to do with a genocide of white people. No, not at all. They're two very different things.
We're dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Now, I believe in a government.
Yeah. Hey, Touring News. Thank you for the raiding party of 61. Welcome in. It's too bad you didn't raid 2 seconds earlier because I was just giving an amazing, incredible, and incredibly humble speech on whiteness. And I think it's probably one of the best things that anyone has ever said on the internet. Unfortunately, you missed it. So you won't be able to hear it. But if you are here for the first time, you probably didn't know this. Tulsi Gabbard is leaving the Democratic Party because it's become wokeified. It hates white people, something about nukes, and war. It's kind of hard to discern.
That's of the...
Oh, by the way, can everyone go to twitch.tv/Touring News? Give Touring News a follow back. Touring News is amazing and incredible. And also, I'm not sure if you're still covering news, Touring News, but the last time I had seen one of your streams, you were doing incredible community gardening, which a lot of people shit on because they're weirdos. Community gardening is absolutely based, and you should be more in tune with your community, and growing food together is not a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. It's actually amazing and awesome, and more people should do it.
By the people, and for the people. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not.
This is interesting. Paul and Cake says, I'm mixed and white. I pass as white, just like me. Raised white. It fucked up my life and denied my identity. Denied me my indigenousness. Hey, same. My hair was bleached as a child to pass, and as soon as I told people my indigenous hair to school, CAS was involved, and that was the 90s. Oh, child services. Wow, that's fucked up. So I didn't have the same thing where I had to like dye my hair or anything like that. It was more when people found out that I was part indigenous, I lied about it because I was racist towards indigenous people as an indigenous person because that was programmed into me by society, broadly speaking.
Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking our country, then I invite you to join me.
I mean, can we do the, hold on. I've never actually seen the original clip. I never watched Pokemon, I'm sorry. Shocked Pikachu memes. Why was Pikachu surprised? Teach me things, Pokemon.
That tiny yellow electric mouse has captivated the world since 1999. Surprise Pikachu is a beloved meme. Everyone absolutely loves Surprise Pikachu. But where did this meme actually come from? Sign in and get ready to comment down below, because in this episode of Pokemon Theory, I'm going to discuss why Pikachu is surprised.
I just want to see the clip.
Misty first attempts to capture an Oddish, and then tries with Bulbasaur and, well, fails. Yes, a Starmie was beaten by a wild Bulbasaur. That is a gym leader's Starmie beaten by a tackle attack. One tackle attack.
I'm just gonna be real. This isn't really accessible to people who aren't kind of already into this. As someone who doesn't watch the show, I'm a little bit lost. I'm like, I do have my bearings. I know you got to catch them all, and I understand that, and then you use them to battle each other. But a lot of the other words are just coming across kind of as gibberish to me. So I'm still not where I need to be.
Bad traits. So means it wasn't really that far into the series. So back to Surprise Pikachu, the writers really didn't care about gameplay mechanics nor continuity. At the time, let's just think real simple on this. Why would Bulbasaur be able to use Whirlwind? It makes no sense. We're talking about Generation 1, so even if he were able to use Whirlwind for whatever...
See, okay, so I get that there's different generations too. See, like, I know enough of this world to be able to understand, but like, again, you're not really making this accessible to the non... Like, if I walked up to someone who has no idea what Pokemon is, and I was just like, you know, why would Bulbasaur use Wind Attack? I mean, that's kind of just like, that's a tackle, you know what I mean? I'm sure they'd be like, sorry, what? Weak Pokemon, one hit KO stronger Pokemon. Okay, well that makes sense. At least it's mathematics, you know? You're of the generation? Oh no, I'm far older. I was playing with Pogs, you see, and Magic the Gathering is what the kids were doing around that time. The Pokemon cards were not popular. The only Pokemon thing that I've played and finished is the Game Boy game. I guess that's the original, right? That's the very first one. I played that, and that's it. And just the first one, not all the other iterations and multiple, you know, there's so many things. Oh yeah. You might have explained the best part you skipped. Well, fine, then I refuse to learn. I will not learn anything. I also didn't learn anything from Tulsi Gabbard. It's entirely predictable that Tulsi Gabbard would be coming out and being like, oh, by the way, I'm just straight up a right winger now. Yeah, surprise everyone. I've been a fucking open and proud TERF for the last little while, talking about gender ideology and talking about women in sports taking over and all this other stuff, like huge. Like even Chico wasn't shocked. Check this out. Chico's like, yeah, no, we know, don't we? Oh, you look so tired though. You need more sleep. You're like, I'm awake, but I'm not. Daddy's being too loud. He's doing this thing right now where he's like, do I leave or do I stay here? I kind of want to go into the other room because you're being loud, but also I need your company at all times and I need to be beside you to feel safe. He's choosing. Oh, he's coiling up, and he picked coilage. Oh, too pure for this world, I tell you. Protect dogs. Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Nkosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.